From the sandy white beaches of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, comes the story of one remarkable young man. Meet Jacob Goldberg, honor student, National AP Scholar with distinction, entrepreneur, and philanthropist.
When Jacob was first born, he had a lot of movement in his eyes, his rapid movement all over. And I questioned the doctor, and they said, that's normal, everything's okay. And, you know, we kept watching him, and he was my second child. And I noticed whenever I would feed him, I didn't feel there was a connection. I didn't feel he could see me. You could just feel that connection. And I took him to the doctor and called him quite a few times. And finally, at 3 months, he said, let me take a real good look here and see what's going on. And at that point, he realized that Jake really was not following or really looking at lights and things like that, like a 3-month-old should.
While Jacob's many accomplishments are very impressive, they are made truly incredible by the fact that he is legally blind and has Tourette's syndrome.
He's very strong-willed. You really can't tell him anything or do anything that he can't do for himself. So we didn't have to really boost him. If anything, he boosted us.
At just 19 years old, he's already accomplished more than most do in a lifetime. A recent graduate of the prestigious Crest School, where he ran varsity cross-country and track, for Jacob, running is more than just a sport. It's a passion and a source of great pride.
I tried to go out for a lot of sports when I was younger. In 6th grade, 7th grade, I went out for basketball, soccer, football, flag football, tennis, and baseball, and didn't make the sports. I tried for baseball, and the coaches they understood my disability, so they had me sit in the behind the dugout kind of area and catch the balls for them. I went out for soccer, and I thought that sport I can show off a little bit. So I sprinted down the field, and I was trying to follow the ball, and then I realized I wasn't making the team after I ran right into a younger kid, a little smaller than me. So I did find running because my mom was a big runner. So she took me into her group one day, and I started running, and I realized I just loved it, the way you kind of lose yourself in the feeling of the run. You zone out, and it's like another world. And you don't need, it sounds ironic, but you really don't need your vision for running. You just run the way you feel when you're running with a group of people. And it just felt so good, so relaxing, such a relief, and a way to really let loose and reach the back of your mind and think of things you usually don't think of.
I've had some really good leaders and some really solid athletes and some great kids that have gone on to do great things. But I've never had anybody with the type of passion and the type of charisma that really Jacob has.
When I read about the Spirit of Sport Award and the criteria for it, what stood out to me most was the part about overcoming adversity or challenging circumstances. And of course, sportsmanship and community service and academics and athletics, all of that combined, we have a lot of students that would fulfill that requirement, but the challenging circumstances is what stood out for me for Jacob, because he just does it every day. What he does every day as a legally blind athlete and also with Tourette's syndrome is, to me, extraordinary.
I have never seen him as a disabled individual because he doesn't manifest that in any way. Yes, he has to wear special glasses. He has trouble seeing the board, but it does not slow him down in any way. And to be honest with you, I had no idea about his Tourette's syndrome until his mother told me much later in his sophomore year, again, which was the first year that I had him. I had seen no manifestations of it. And now that, once I was made aware of it, I could see the minor tics that occur. But he goes through everything so flawlessly and so elegantly that it's impossible to ever think of him as disabled. He's triumphant, is what he is.
He is the spirit of our team. Now I know that might be a little cliche, but he really is. He's a lively one. He's the one that's there for everyone, no matter what happens, whether they have a good race, whether they have a bad race, he's there for them. He's there to make them laugh, and he's there to encourage them, and everyone has a great time.
Jacob never wears his disability. Jacob wears who he is and his character. You never see anything else. He doesn't make excuses. He's all about being proactive and what he can do. When you first meet Jacob, you really have to search to see. You think he may just be looking away or looking in the distance, thinking about something. You don't see his disability, and he never brings it forward.
The Spirit of Sport Award, in my eyes, is he has the drive to compete even when all obstacles are set against him. And I think being legally blind and having Tourette's are two challenges that by themselves would be incredibly difficult to overcome and play sports, any sport. And the fact that he has both and he not only does the sports but succeeds in them is flat out incredible.
When you think of Jacob and you think of his spirit and his sportsmanship and how he's all about community and how he reaches out to others, it's his character, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you drive or what you wear or really where you go in life is all about who you are and your character and to protect your integrity, and that's what Jacob does in every turn. He's always setting an example. He's always thinking about other students. He's always thinking about his actions and how they're going to impact others, and that's rare in teenagers today.
In 2007, Jacob and his sister Rachel co-founded the nonprofit Together We See. And Jacob's goodwill and service to the community don't end there.
Einstein once said that it's every man's responsibility to give back to the world whatever he's taken out, and I've taken out a lot, and I really feel obliged to give back. So when I went to camp when I was younger, around 13 years old, my sister and I went to a camp in Georgia, and it was a regular camp, but having my sister there really made going away all the more easier. It was really hard for me to go away. I was apprehensive to leave my comfort zone, but having her as a counselor there really gave me the opportunity to have such a great experience. So when I came home, I decided to combine making a difference and giving opportunity to children who don't have the opportunity, don't have the siblings to show them the way. So we founded Together We See, a nonprofit organization sponsoring underprivileged, blind, and disabled children and their siblings to go to camp in northern Florida. And in order to raise the money, I combined my other passion, running, to do all the funding. So I ran half marathons and triathlons, and with each race, my mom, my sister, and I worked to send out letters and made phone calls, met with sponsors, and to the point where into our 5th year, this past February, I decided to, instead of run a race, actually coordinate my own 5K. So I set up the first inaugural Together We See I Run 5K and barbecue event, and I'm already planning on next year's 2nd annual race for the winter, and I'm planning on working with sponsors this summer.
One of the things that we were always impressed with is that he ran road races. He established different foundations to help the blind. And every year he had a big road race on Boca. I think it's a 5K race, and he raised money. I think over the years he's raised almost $65,000 to send young people, blind people, to camp in Florida.
Since the creation of Together We See in 2007, we've raised over $75,000, and from the Together We See I Run alone, we had 400 participants and raised almost $20,000.
I think his spirit and never giving up and never letting this be a disability, he has made it, an ability to do whatever he wants to do.
Today, Jacob is one step closer to fulfilling another dream with an acceptance letter to Harvard.
When Jacob found out that he got accepted to Harvard, he ran outside and ran up and down the street knocking on people's doors. And as they answered the door, he yelled, "I got accepted to Harvard, I got accepted to Harvard." It was really neat.
I believe his spirit, his desire, his drive, I think he gives it to himself, his teammates, his community, other coaches. But I also think because of who he is, it makes other people on the team want to raise their spirit, want to raise themselves.
He's inspirational to his peers, he's inspirational to the faculty and to the administration. You can't help but encounter Jacob and be astonished by everything that he is and what he's accomplished, and he does it all with such amazing grace and humor. He has an incredible sense of humor, and that approach to life, it would absolutely inspire anybody, and it does.
See, I'm just really happy and grateful for what I have and lucky for what I don't have. I don't have worst case of Tourette's. I don't have total blindness. I don't have any other diseases or cancer, which is I'm so thankful for. What I do have though is an amazing family. My parents always there to support me, push me beyond my abilities, and my sister and brother always there making life easier and so positive. I look up to them. My friends and my team rallying around me all the time, trying to push me to the finish line, both literally and figuratively. And my teachers always seeing the light in me and reaching my potential to go to Harvard. All the resources I have and the opportunities every day are so amazing. I love life. It's amazing.